in the beginning, it was all right lead because it came from training with these things, okay? So a lot of times in weaponry arts, you tend to have the right hand and right leg forward. So for many months, I'll be outside throwing those things around, and suddenly all these empty hand movements started coming out of me through throwing around big blades, through throwing around pickaxe handles and throwing around sticks, just doing what the boss actually told me to do. I didn't realise, maybe he did, that this was going to start coming out of me in the way that it did. So we actually started it in the early days, was right lead. And before I met Duncan over there, it was always with a fist. Okay, so we both square up. So basically, he'd be in a right lead. And that's how we worked it. There was no natural footwork. As Nigel hit with a forehand strike one, he'd drive forwards and pause it. But remember, there was no choo-choo hammer. It was that bounce off. It was pushing from the rear foot, driving forward, put the two together now, go one, and then go in two strikes here. So it was never normally one, it was always two. Because the one would be clearing out the way, while the other one would be driving, and then you start to look at what's happened now that Nigel straight away has broken the distance. Okay, so that's how it started. So if I threw a punch at Nigel, so we worked this from Thai boxers. We worked in my Thai boxing class, and I always say if you can get Thai boxers and boxers on your side, because they do it proper, they do it for real, they're used to hitting people, then you know you're on the right track. So the Thai boxing class, we're all doing this kind of strange hammer stuff, all right, here. So Nigel was right lead, all right? And again, before we pre-Duncan, this was all fists. We'd move around, hitting. I'd jab, he'd destroy the attack and move forwards. I'd fire a cross, same thing, 1, 2. I'd fire a jab cross, the same thing. So it didn't matter whatever technique you worked, you'd still carry on with the figure eight motion, because the blade just done the job of going forehand and going backhand. So whatever was there, he cut it and then he'd move in. Again, he's being really careful, but he'd be driving in with his feet, he'd be chopping away and going. So it wasn't kind of like a start and a stop, okay? It was a continual flow of movement here, continual flow of movement. So when we start playing here, he pushes off his right, drives forward with a forehand, then moves in with a backhand. We'll change direction, different way. Forehand here, backhand here, okay? That's the very beginning. That's where I got the idea from. It's evolved quite a lot. The principles are still the same, but it's evolved quite a lot, over the past 7 or 8 years, really. It's evolved a lot over the past maybe 4 or 5, I'd say. All right? So we're going to have a trip down memory lane to start with in the first kind of module. And the DVD sold all over the world and people were raving about it then. It's, in my opinion, it's a lot better now. It's a lot easier to learn now. But this stuff is still pretty cool. And you'll still get some of the approach instructors who prefer this than the way that I do it now. Okay, and one's nodding and smiling at me as we're doing it. Well, I've got two. Simon just smiles at me and looks at me lovingly anyway. All right, here, yes. Especially after Germany. Okay, so we're going to go pushing off the rear leg. He drives forwards 1 and then 2, and we change and we move again. Forehand strike into a backhand strike. The whole time it was, we're not making a fist to punch, we're making a fist so we can hammer. Again, there's your hammer and there's your baseball bat, okay? So we go forehand, we go backhand. Each time he's moving his body weight forwards, okay? Again, forehand and backhand. If I'm closer, again, it's Super Nige, and Super Nige prefers the forearm. If I'm closer, it's a forearm in, okay? If I'm closer, it's a forearm in. If he's even closer, again, this is Big Duncan's because he just has to kind of like stand still and do it. He'll go forehand and straight into an elbow, all right, without barely moving. Again, size dictates, time and space dictates what technique you use. So we're going to start off. Right lead, pushes off, forehand strike and backhand strike. Every time he moves his feet. 1 and 2. Again, we go 1 and 2. So a little trip down memory lane, and then we'll just see how the lesson progresses, okay? So remember, get into a right lead. Guys, girls, just stop here a second. Get into a right lead. Like you always hear me say that every position's a fighting position, but we're doing it from the beginning. And the beginning was right leg forward, right hand forwards. And then we started to play around with the footwork as it started to evolve. But in the early days, it was right leg forward, 1 and then 2. Okay, so we get Nigel out a second. We've both got right lead. He's the boxer, so he's most of the time he's left lead. So you're feeding me. There's 1 and there's 2. See the position, so we're starting to work it. So it starts to open up loads of horrible things. Okay, here, but we're starting it from that right lead here. 1 and 2. If you can start to see my thigh into his thigh. All this is starting to play. All this is starting to go offer. All right, rather than just being here with it. Or because some of you are kind of like starting here now, which is great. But we want to go from the beginning. Right lead, drive 1 and go 2. Again, my head's going onto the shot. I'm looking at you guys because I'm teaching, remember, but look at my head. See where he's going. If my head's up, he's still up. If my head turns to him, he's going to be on his arse. Okay? Stay right lead just for now. Stay right lead. Good, Jazz. Quick spot from it. Okay, we want to really spark through this. Okay? Really get at the spark here. 1 and 2. Okay? So once what you're doing is you're going 1 and stopping here. Again, leave your shoulders a bit shit, right? But imagine that you're going through this. Okay, so we're going to go like forehand, look this way now. See that? Yeah? So once you've hit with that backhammer, hit with the backhammer here. Yeah, but hit it, because then you're going to go choo-choo. Okay, that's how we're going to build it up. There you go, please stay ready, or for an elbow, whatever's there. 10 seconds. 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And time. Very, very good. Okay, just use Nigel a second if you can grab the pads. Again, it's weird, you know, I've got Nigel and Jake. Sorry, I've got Nigel and Simon here who were there in the beginning. And then Duncan started coming through, and then Baz and Andy, and then we have Jazz, you know, Kevin, Sean, and Jake again from a few years ago. So you've all those of you who are here today have all come in pretty much different stages. All right. So those of you who have gone like Jazz and Kev and Sean, you know, this stuff is quite new to you. You know, it's like, wow, we didn't do this. This wasn't kind of like what we prioritised. So this is kind of like new stuff for you. So I'm not going 1, stop, because I need that spark of this to make me go for the next bits. If this is sloppy, then really this one has kind of like died. I need, if I get Andy out a sec, if I go kind of like Silati, if he hits me something, when I hit, if you see the two are always going. I'm not just going punch. The two are working together. It brings in the whole body.
You've got it, man.
The whole body. And when we start doing this, the whole body's playing. The whole body's coming in. The whole body wants him. Which one's the most dominant? You can't tell when you start doing this kind of stuff. You can't tell. Let's go back to the early days. And it's still now. The approach is what it is. It's easy to learn. It's effective. It's easy to maintain. And easy to retain. And if I'm going to hit you, am I going to punch you with my strongest hand or my weakest hand? The beauty is going, right, this is my strong hand. Can I hit him or her as hard as I can with my strongest weapon? So here's the strongest weapon. We're going to go 1, 2, but once I've hit that, then we're ready for the next. If this one stops, it's dead. You've got to spark off it. Even if you're not going to do anything with the next one, just bounce off it and play again. Bounce off it, play again, rather than going, oh, you do Eddie Quinn's approach, it used to drive me fucking nuts. Are you doing the approach? It's not the approach at all. Okay, you're doing some kind of like, what are you, like a conductor or something. You've got to get that spark. I've hit that to hit that. That one's giving that one the spark to go and do something else, rather than kind of like going 1 and 2. With a back hammer, if you see the position, look, there for an elbow, or as it started to progress, we're there for the choo-choo hammer. Okay, got the idea of it? Rather than kind of just leaving it there. Andy comes out again, and I go, you can go with the jab, Andy. 1, 2. 1, 2, now what? I want to be in a position where I've hit. Whatever's there, I'll take it. So bounce off the target rather than kind of like pouring it. I know we haven't done this for a while, so some of you are a bit rusty. All right, bounce off forehand, bounce off backhand. Beware the room, keep each other nice and safe. That's it, Jake. So you start to simulate the elbow now as well. You know what I mean? So rather than kind of keeping it dead, rather than keep it dead, you go, okay, now I can do the elbow. Nice, see? And I got this maybe a year or so later, after the videos had just been released. So where I am. See where my ass is. I want to engage this. Yeah, remember, from the feet, core. Chris calls it the big 4. Okay, the big 4. Your big 4 are your knees and your elbows. Okay, so you go feet to core to big 4. Here's my big 4. Led with the head, and again, breathing, and you're all breathing really good, which is great. Okay, some of you are kind of like this. If you've got a back problem, that's probably why some of you are like sticking your ass out. But if not, just engage that core a bit. So we go back to the principle. Feet, core, big 4. Make a fist, because that was the early days before the big man over there. Head on the shot, breathe to it, okay? So set yourself, engage your feet, engage your core. Beware your big 4, head on it, all right? I'll shut up, you can train. Let's go. 1, 2. Good. So, if you go back to the original DVDs, not that I've watched them, because I'm one of these people that can't watch myself. Okay, here. Forehand, backhand, and then we go into elbows. From here, yeah? So we go right lead, we go forehand, backhand, and from there, if you notice, this is where it comes around so you can see, look at my body, right? Look at my body. I want you to pay particular attention to my hips, all right? So we go 1. So if I'm going towards Big D and Steve there at the camera, watch, there's 1. See my hips? Now look at my hips now, they're going to go towards Jazz. 2. See, they're coiled again, but I've still got the right lead. From there now I can fire on the elbow. What you've got to start to get and start to remember is this, that the beginning was forehand, backhand, elbow, and some of you have never done with me before, was a forearm to the throat. So if you go back to the original films, that was in it. I just don't teach it very often now, going to the throat. This is an instructor course. All right, even though they're on film, so yeah, I'm a bit of a hypocrite, really. Okay, again, so I go 1, I go 2, there's 3, and there's 4. Correct tool at the correct range. Suddenly I've got Nigel here, straight away, look. So there's, in the flow of movement, there's 1, there's 2, there's 3, and there's 4. Because it's part of that flow, yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4. But I should be able to kind of work it from any position. It's close. Okay, there's the opener. There's the last part of the series. Or he's right here. Okay, there's my elbow. Or we're at this distance where he's punching at me. He's punching at me. So I go with a forehand. So I destroy the attack, but then I move in and take his head out. This is making sense to you, because some of you have never done this with me before. All right? So just because you see 1, 2, 3, and 4, that was just part of the flow. Just like Andy doing the Juru with me. Okay, one of those of you who do the select with me, we're doing the Juru. There's the Juru. They're teaching us to flow from one technique, from one move to another. But it doesn't matter what order we do them in. Yeah, that's where people start to lose kind of like the idea of it. Yeah? All this is teaching you to do is to flow. I'm close. Can't use my hammers now. Yes, I can use my elbows to the body if I'm lower. But there's a forehand, there's a backhand, there's the elbow. But I'm right down. Okay, I'll come up. Or I'm on my knees. Okay, I can still use that motion here. I can still use that motion here. I can go backhand and forehand here. It doesn't matter where I am. Because every position's a fighting position. Oh, you have to do the approach stood up. Fuck off. It's principles. You're still ground fighting stood up because you've got 2 feet on the ground. I'm ground fighting now. I've got 1, 2, and 3 positioned on the floor. 3 points of contact. The approach came from the Silat. We kind of have a technique for this, a technique for that, a technique for that. It's a set of principles. And the principles that we'll take from that kind of mother art can be applied here at the same time. So going back to the start, it started out with a forehand strike, a backhand strike. If you see, you've got to get this because some of you were too square on for me this morning. Forehand, so I'm moving with the forehand, 1, moving with the backhand. Look where my hip is. See where my hip is? It's turned off. Ready to what? Because I'm contracted, aren't I? I'm contracted. So I need to what? I need to expand it. Now, once I've expanded it, I've contracted again. Okay, it's closer. So I've contracted, now expand. But you can do any of this. Time and distance, let's go back again. What, tweaking nipples then? Okay, here. Time and distance dictates what technique we use. All right, we're going to do the approach. Okay, really? We're going to do, oh, so it's the hammers, is it? If I got one of these in my hand, it's different. Because that's closer now. But that's a cram bit. I'm going to use my hammers now? Of course not. This is where I'm going to go in here. So we've got a forehand strike, 1, 2, my hips are off, elbow 3, careful now, go 4, straight to the throat here. Okay, so keep each other nice and safe. So we're going to go forehand, backhand, hips coiled off, there's the elbow, there's the forehand strike. Okay, happy with it? Let's have a go, guys. Right. Reality, right? We go 1, 2, I'm still driving this. Lovely, Kevin, love it. This is great. Lovely, guys. Yes, beautiful. That's great. So you can just start it from that way. So we get Andy out. No, you're not going to swap the pads over yet because the first light had a little bit longer. To get Andy out here, see where I am? See where I am here? We're close. We're close. So we're breaking it down. We're going kind of like, in Brummie terms, going arse upwards. Okay, here, yeah? There's that first strike. Once I've got that first strike, I just drive this elbow straight down into his sternum. From there now, it opens him up ready for that backhand strike. Got the idea of it? So I'm close here. He's got me. I drive up. Once I've driven that up, I'm going straight into the chest. There's there. From there now, look to the elbow. There's the backhammer. He ain't going to be there, but if he is, I just come straight away now and work it with a forehand strike and forehand and then backhand. So this movement was 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. From the blade, 1, 2, 3, and 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. That's where I got it from. I just picked it to death really and worked it. Strongest hand. I didn't know how to use all the other bits then. Well, I did because it was in the Jurus. All the stuff's been in my face the whole time. All these eureka moments of me going, oh God, Lucille, where have you been all my life? I've known for the past 20 odd years of training with Chris. It just didn't come out up until a year ago or so. Okay? So you can start closer now. Careful. Engage this into the throat. Once you're into the throat, again, Duncan said it earlier. If you get Duncan out, what you've been doing, which is the same. Do you want to use me?
Yeah. If I'm coming in, it's likely to hit him in the head or skim over the top of his head, etc. So because of our height, we've done the elbow, we're having to go like a melon ball. So we're coming into the chest and then we're bringing it up. So we're coming down and up. Sorry, coming down the throat. So it's in and up as you're coming in. Just get that head up.
So again, same movement. There's the cut. Straight into here. Doesn't matter, does it? It's just, excuse me, I've got my own back. So we start it here, into the throat. Once I go into the throat, look what's on offer. I drop it down. From there now, come over the backhand. And again, we're not going to go there yet, but then you start seeing my favourite. We start seeing the old choo-choo coming out. All right? So start here with the throat, drive it down to the sternum, come over with the backhand strike. Keep each other nice and safe as always, all right? Especially when you're going near the throat. That's why I don't really teach it so much, but I wanted to share it with you guys, and you never know what we're going to get on film in future, okay? Let's go. I'll use Nigel and Jake. Nigel, you're going to be doing the job, right? Okay, so Nigel and Jake are close. Jake's a bad boy. From there now, Nigel throws that into his throat. Once he throws it into his throat, he drops it straight down into Jake's sternum. Okay, but what Nigel's got to remember is this. There's me. From there now, he drives, there's your backhand. See how it all starts to pan out? So we start doing all this kind of stuff going 1, 2, backhammer 3. But I've just shoved that into Jake, hit there. Next thing you know, I've got fucking Nigel here. Vroom, okay, you have that. Now I'm starting to play again. So all these movements, they're there to teach you that flow. But what's still at? Bladed, and there's more than one. The principles of the approach have always been the same. We've got to think about more than one. And if you think about somebody's armed, what's your response going to be? Run, or if you can't run, if he knows I've got a blade in his pocket, he's got to move. If you remember on all your bullet men fights, all the time we're going, fill the space better than them, fill the space better than them. Imagine that they're armed, imagine that they're armed, imagine you've got a blade in his hand, imagine you've got a shop knife. Yeah? Got the idea of this? So while you're learning this first kind of movement here, and again we're learning it so now we're breaking it up out of different kind of like distances. This, and you might feel that you're too close. You're not too close. Chris always talks about having space. We've got more space than we know, okay? I've got Nigel in the way. I've got Duncan in the way. As much as they're big units, but we've got so much space. Yeah, I've hit. It's like, okay, can I still move my feet? Yes, wham. So I've got him there if he's there. But from a kind of like multiple opponent kind of mindset, I smash Jake, okay. I'm 360 in the room already. I'm 360 in the room straight away, rather than going, right, come here, you big bugger. And all this, I want to hit him, and then be able to be aware of the other people. Okay, so you're checking it 360 here. So what you're going to do, for now, is this. You're going to have your pads on. You're going to go into the throat. You're going to drop it for an elbow. You're going to pause it. From there now, all you're going to do, and you're going to work the back hammer. So look again. Again, some of you have never done this before. All right. Come round so you can all see this. Make sure Steve can get it in. Okay. You can be the boxer. I'll be the approacher. Yeah. Okay. So you go left lead, right? So watch. Forehand. Watch now. Watch the next one. Backhand. So we're making that X. In the early times, it was always get this X, get the X, get the X, get the X. It's not an X, it's a figure eight. It's a figure eight. But what was happening, which is fine if you're close, people were doing this. They were going forehand, watch now, backhand. And they were coming across horizontally. So I go with a forehand and miss Nigel. So he takes his head back, boom, like that. I do that and he drills me straight down the middle. Okay? If I keep to the figure eight, I go with the forehand. I'm still going to get him as I stick my finger up his nose. Okay, yes. I'm really trying to keep you safe and everything today because I've not done this for ages. All right? I've just attacked you with the finger. Oh. Mind you, I could stick my finger up my nose and be right here anyway. There we go. Okay. So we go one, and I do that, I'm going to get caught. So I've got to keep to that downward figure eight. So if I do go forehand and miss his head, like so, and it does drive one in, I'm still picking this up. Now I'm in position where I can start to work again. Okay, here. Yes? So when you're doing this motion next, go to the throat, then go to the chest. Okay? So go to the throat, go to the chest with the elbow. Now from there, see how contracted he is? Now watch, he's going to come over with the downward part of that backhand. Downward part. Whap. So it's coming over. All right? Again, watch again. I go with a forehand strike. Right? He takes his head back, like so. Even if he does start to fire that, look at the range I'm at. But if I'm further out, and I do that, I'm going to get caught. If I'm moving in this way, it helps. But what it was in the beginning, it was to make sure people would stick to this downward figure eight motion. Because look, it would just pick it up. The second I started to do that, and he's being really kind, I get caught. And again, remember, this was born through doing it against my Thai boxing class. These guys could hit you. They were hitting you, they had gloves on, they wanted to hit you, to prove you wrong. Okay, here. So the second I started doing that, I get caught. The second that I kept it, used to open them up and then suddenly getting these tapped and all this, started to bring them into a different dimension that was a bit strange to them. Okay? So you're going to go into the throat, drive the elbow through. From there, I'm going to move, pad position, he brings it over, down. So he's bringing that thing all the way down. And just imagine Jake and Duncan doing that to you. Whack. Horrible. And Simon. Okay. Bad enough when, yeah, well, we've all seen the famous YouTube clip of the backhand, haven't we? Okay, we've all seen the famous, filmed by Steve Reynolds about 8 years ago, all right? That will go down in approach history as the most super backhand strike I've ever seen in my entire life. Okay? So, throat, elbow, move to the side, downward backhand strike. Okay? Walk your way through it, keep each other nice and safe. There you go, lovely Nigel, beautiful. Oh, lovely Simon. Then once you give that backhand strike down, bring it back up again. There you go. Push it, feet. Down. Back hammer, there you go. Into the front, drives it. Yeah, then sink it. Now you're going to explode. Now you're going to drive in. Boom. So he's the boxer, the Thai boxer, okay? And I'm in my right lead, making a fist. Again, before another big man, making a fist here. Nigel would throw a jab, I'd destroy the attack, follow through, backhand strike. Again, all the other bits and pieces were optional, okay? What we used to look for was to get that connection with the body here, rather than just going 1, 2, and still be in this kind of like no man's land. We crash and drive the space straight away, okay? In my mind, I'd be looking to... See, we got this. Everything's a gift, everything's a target to smash, yes? So he punches, I smash it, then I smash his head. But in my mind, really, how I used to do this was, I'd just be smashing his head. And the more I was still thinking about smashing his head, and this was still covering that downward diagonal line, it would pick the punch up anyway. So rather than going, oh, let me just smash the arm, okay, I'd be thinking about smashing his head, but the arm would be in the way. From there now, look at the elbow. So the circle would be going 1, then over 2. And again, what people didn't start to realise was, and some of you didn't start to realise was, that all this kind of stuff could be working not just from going, right, Eddie goes, here's the forehand, and there's the backhand, oh, now I can elbow, and now I can hit him in the throat. Time and distance dictates what technique we use. I'm going, okay, he's close, forehand in the throat. Okay, he's close, elbow, okay? Yes? His mate's there, okay, back hammer. Oh, we're at this range now where we're using all of this that we're doing now. So he jabs, I go forehand, I go backhand. He crosses, I go forehand, I go backhand. I'm still keeping the X. He goes jab cross, 1, 2, I don't wait for the cross. People used to wait for it, they'd go 1 and wait for the cross. Thank you. You don't wait. Who's been on a propelled aircraft before? Yeah? The propellers don't go start, stop, start, stop, start, stop. They're just going to keep on going, because if they started going start, stop, you've been the shit. Okay? We're going to be the propellers of that aircraft. Propellers of the aircraft. So whether or not that comes or not, it doesn't matter, because I'm going to carry on doing what I do. And as you start to see, the more I start to close in on Nigel, can you all come round and have a quick gander here? That's quite Brum, isn't it, gander? Have you heard what gander is? Yeah, have a look. See what we're starting to pick up now? Accidentally, because my body's moved in. Okay, look, my armpit's picking him up, my elbows picked him up, my thighs picked him up. And there's that break there as I start to go towards Duncan. The less I give of me again, the less I get of him. So what we're going to do is this. He's going to fire a jab, you're going to go forehand, you're going to go backhand. Then your partner's going to fire a cross, you're going to go forehand and backhand. Again, keep each other safe, okay? Then you're going to go jab cross, 1 and 2, and don't stop. And again, you can start to see all the obvious things that come into play from here. So he jabs and you go forehand, backhand. He crosses, forehand, backhand. He jab crosses, forehand, backhand. Even if he cross hooks, doesn't matter. I don't wait for the hook. Watch again, cross hook. I don't wait, I go, ooh, thank you. What are you going to do? What are you fucking going to do? I used to stick fight and just do forehand backhand the entire time, because all the other shit wouldn't work. Huh? Forehand backhand the entire time. Yes? What are you going to do when somebody's got a blade and they're trying to chop you? How are you going to get in? How are you going to get in? Got these, can't carrying them. He fires that cross and I drive in, I'm going straight into here. And again, old Big Duncan's favourite, but we're still driving forwards. We're not kind of spearing. Again, that's an option if you've trained there before, but I don't do it. Spear again, and I'm going off on one, and I ain't slagging anybody off. Spear's this kind of motion here. He comes in, there's a spear here. 2 blades coming in, there. It's all in what we do. 2 blades here. All right? He fires across, I go 1, I go 2. Heads on it. I'm looking at you because I've got the camera, I'm teaching you guys. Engage this and go. If you want a spear, fine. That's just a forearm strike. Again, I wouldn't want that off you, mate, because I'd be dead. All right? So he jabs, I go forehand, backhand. He crosses, forehand, backhand. Jab crosses, forehand, backhand. He cross hooks, forehand, backhand. He grabs me, grabs a knee me, I go forehand. Forehand, see? Forehand. Yes? Forehand, see? Not fucking forehand. This is the forehand motion. Ooh, there's a backhand motion. He goes to shoot for me. Forehand, backhand, playing, boom. It's your, what do you say it is, Duncan? It's like your screwdriver, isn't it? Yeah, your posi drive. You got your flat head and you got your posi drive. Okay, there's your flat head and there's your posi drive. Okay? It's going to jab, going to cross, going to jab cross, going to cross hook. And all you'll do is carry on going forehand, backhand. Okay? So I'll do it to Nige. I go jab. I go cross. I go jab cross. I go cross hook. See, it's all there. Okay? Last few minutes, then we're going to move it on to the next part of the approach. Okay, watching. Right lead. We go forehand, we go backhand. See where my hips are? See where my hips are? Yes? Watch again. Pay particular attention to my hips. Because this is taking us to the kind of like meet and dunk and all the other stuff and all the open the hands out and the choo-choo and the throwing and everything else. Okay, but this flows in really nice for it. Because it was like, if you know what I'm like all the time, I'm still going, how can I improve it? How can I make it better? How can I make it more efficient? How can I make it more simple for people to learn rather than trying to complicate things, making combat complicated? You know, we go back to self-perfection, self-preservation, self-perfection to learn the art, whatever the art is that you enjoy to do. Self-preservation is for you guys to get home safely. And I think that's a line, unless you're a professional, okay, who does it for real, that a lot of martial artists don't get because they get led into a bit of a false sense of security. And again, you've always heard me say this, as much as I love martial arts, and I do, the second I walked into that dojo in 1985, I was hooked. Yeah, I was like 15 stone overweight. You know, sorry, not 15, I was 15 stone in weight. You know, I was 4 stone overweight. And it was like, wow, this is something I wanted to do. But I walked into that dojo with the guys barefoot, with the suits on and bowing. And as much as I loved it, I loved that whole respect thing. But I also knew from the day one, the first day, that where I'd come from, it weren't like that. It weren't like that. I always knew there was a difference. And that's when the journey started. That's when the journey started, all right? And again, today, taking on that journey. And if we have to go over a little bit more, are you okay with staying over? Because I'm just getting myself warmed up for you, okay? So watch. Right lead. Making a fist, pre-dunking, engaging the core. Feet, core, big forehead. I go forehand, I go backhand. Look at my hip here, right? There's that hip. So my hip is wound up here. So I've got Nigel, he's right close, and that's when I can unleash the elbow. But he's not. He's further out. Watch my hip. Watch my hip. So I go forehand, backhand, my hip's coiled, and my hand's back to guard again. So here, now watch. I step, walk, step, and as I step, that is where the choo-choo hammer came from. Okay, this one that we called the choo-choo. I have fucking no idea. Probably again with being with the kids all the time, playing the choo-choo hammer strike, trying to get into their heads being trains, but it's stuck. All right, and it works. So I go right lead, I go forehand, I go backhand, but that's what I've been trying to get into your heads. Get into your heads today. With the backhand strike, you're not just doing this. Because you want to contract, expand. That thing there goes contract, expand, pop, 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 pop. Okay, so go, here I am. Watch, I'm contracted. He's moved out of the way. So I'm throwing the ball. If Kevin passes me a dagger, thanks, Kevin. There's that motion. But I do it with a step to get the distance. Okay? I do it with a step to get the distance, as in, put one leg in front of the other. So Jazz, don't look at me all puzzled. We're walking. All right, here. So, right leg in front. We go forehand, we go backhand. Hips coiled, guard up. I'm throwing the ball to Sean. Okay, as I throw the ball to Sean, I step with it. Okay, watch again. You're all happy with this, forehand. Just want you to get your hips in a bit more. Backhand, I'm coiled. He's out the way. Okay, I'll speed it up a little bit. Close that distance really quickly. All right, so watch. We go forehand, backhand, hips are coiled, step and choo-choo. Okay, forehand, backhand, step and choo-choo. And that's where it started to change. That's when it started to change. And then the big man turned up and his partner in crime. All right, let's have a go. Close. Left leg in front, Kev. Here, 1, 2. Good. Use a donkey second. Watching, guys, girls. Again, slow it down a little bit. Forehand, watch the back hammer. So make sure your hips are off. And if you, this hand, watch, if he comes towards me, check him, and then hit. Okay? So here I go forehand, I go backhand, he comes towards me, check him, then push and go. Okay? So that check would be, watch, I go 1, 2, get your hips off. Some of you are still here. 1, 2, and square. Okay? 1, 2, use this, check it, step and hit. You can't fire the choo-choo hammer like this if you haven't got these already in place. The big man, get your hands up. You don't want to fight, we create the witness. Rather than this now, the hand started to open. But even when the hand started to open, check out the gut again. Watch what happened. Look what my hip used to do. I'd never stand there square on like this. My hip, even if I started from like the kind of like oh fuck position, okay? The oh fuck position, I'd still be turning my hip off. My hands would be up, oh please, 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 leave me alone, don't want to fight, don't want to fight. Doing all the things that tick the boxes for the police, etc., for you, to keep you safe. But then I'd step and drive with the choo-choo hammer. So there's no difference when we're playing it in a kind of like, you know, a continual flow of movement. We go forehand, we go backhand, the hips off. All right, and now come out. But how it started to evolve was, okay, from this being aggressive to this to be passive. We wasn't square on, we'd be turning the hip off and being here. I'd still be wearing my feet, wearing my core and the big four and my head and my verbals. Oh, please, Jed, leave me alone, please, call the police. But my hip will still be off. Yeah? So we're gonna go forehand strike, backhand strike, my hip is off. If you feel he's too close, check him away or her away. Again, your morals tell you where you're gonna hit them. All right? Yes? From here, I drive and step, and that's when we start to come into the choo-choo hammer. Right lead, engage it. Forehand, backhand, my hips are turned off, going towards that corner. Hand goes out, step and choo-choo hammer. Okay? Right lead, you're making a fist. Forehand, backhand, see this is going. Don't let this do the work, let your body do the work. Hips off, check, choo-choo strike. Okay? Choo-choo strike. It's mad, isn't it? Let's go. Lots better. Yes, Kevin. Lots better. Keep sure me first. Here we go, like. We've got to do it. So you're going to go 1, 2, pause it, whoa, and then fucking load it. Set a distance a bit more for him, Mark, to make him move in a bit more. There you go. You should be able to just drive, because in the length of you should be able to just step in here. Look. This is too close. Guys and girls, time a second. This is really important, especially if you teach it, because like we said, you've got to know your audience. And that doesn't just mean like, you know, young kids, adults, or whoever you teach. You have all shapes and sizes. And what you've got to remember is when you've got people, when you've got likes of Duncan here, look, if I get Dunk out, if you're not careful, because he's so big, when he fires it, because if we're like a normal range, when he fires his hammer strike, look how close he is. Yeah? But suddenly his arms turn into Tyrannosaurus Rex arms. Tiny little arms. Okay? Where, watch now, hands up. Look at the distance that we've got now. Yeah? Watch. Look. Whereas if I got Andy, watch now, don't. It's not going to happen. Now it's going to happen. Well, he'd be doing these kicks or whatever he's going to do. Yeah? Or like we've just been working, you go right lead, there, yeah, and then you go forehand, backhand, 1 and 2, there. See where he is? Now look at the distance. See? Because he's stepping and moving and driving. So all the time you've got to make, thanks sir. I think the beauty of it is, because I've been teaching so long and holding pads for so long and worked with many different shapes and sizes of fighters as well, you know, in the Muay Thai, you get used to kind of having to change different ranges, okay? But some of you, it's like you've never had that experience. So you hold for someone like Duncan, if I get D out again, so you hold for someone like Duncan for the first time and you hear like that and it's like, it's just way too close. I want to make him, he's got these huge arms, yeah? He's got a big wingspan. I want to make him use it. Look, what's the point in having it? What's the point in being that size when you can't release it? You can't release it, okay? Got the idea of it? So just make sure all the time that you're keeping the pads in position and they're there, so that they're not struggling to hit, okay? Yes? That makes sense? It's time to go, guys. We're going to move on soon. Let's go. Watch now. Baz, use you. So we got beginners, we go, right mate, leave me alone, I don't want to fight, back away, blah, 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 and I'm square on. I turn my hip off, I'm here. Push off the right, step with the left, there's my choo-choo, okay? But the confrontation's here, all right? I'm going to keep on walking. Fucking wanker, blah, 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 blah. I've done that before, don't work. Yeah? So how I work it a lot now is that when it's here like that, this is a beginner, I'll start to walk off this way. And that's why towards the end of the lesson, I was getting to go right here, towards the end of this last part, to start checking out. So when we're here now, beginners, like that, I'll start to walk. See my hand? Here. Put the pad up from that position, there's your strike. So what I'm doing is, if that does come, I'm in there, but from there, there's that choo-choo right on that angle there. It's fucking horrendous. So this is the starting point. Don't want to fight, mate, back away. Not getting him here, all right? Just move to the side. Put the pad in position, keep away from the face, still do the same thing. So I can start here, go to there, and then go to there. Start here, mate, I don't want trouble, fucking move and go. Got the idea of it? So I'm not just here all the time, because of what? Uncle Baz with his blade. Look, Matt, I'm really sorry, pal. See where I am? Yes? So when you're here now, just get here, then just walk off. And this is up checking. This can do lots of horrible things. And then I can hit. All right? So just get out of the range, get out of that distance. This firing line here, mate, I'm sorry. I don't want to fight you. This is ready to go. This can go. So we can start here, ABCs of it again, turning this off, getting them to push and to drive and to step and learn how to develop their body transition, their body, their movement. Hands up, create the witness, but then just get them off and start walking. I'm not going to stand still. I'm not going to stand still anymore. As a kid, yes, but no, mate, I don't want it. I don't want it. I'll carry on moving, and if he does come towards me, then he's showing me that he wants to fight me. And I've done everything in my power just to say I don't want to fight. I'm really sorry, pal. Here I am, hands up, turn it off, get them to step and move, but start to work it from different angles. Start to work it from different angles. Yeah? Again, we all know the supinized backhand from these positions. Yeah? Just being here, just work it from different ways. Work it from different ways. And just have this doing stuff. Let your left hand have a purpose. Let your left hand have a purpose. Not just to be just here. He starts to twitch, it's going in. He starts to twitch, it's going in. Okay? We're going in. Missed you, Baz. All right, here. Hands up, turn the hip off, here I am. Push and drive and hit. Turn the angle. You haven't even got to put your hand on them. Just put here and then step and go. You're getting the student to move their feet. Okay? Yeah, so you want to kind of like be here with it and then be here with it and then to be here with it. So like here with it, to be here with it, to be here with it. Whoa, 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 and then go and drive. Yeah? Yeah, yeah, go. Oh, look at that, Peter. Look at that, Peter. Step out though, move. Yeah, 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 yeah. Step, oh. Yeah. See here like that, it's like, oh mate, I'm in fucking trouble. Oh wow, that one. Yeah. There you go. There you're there. Okay, so we get Jake and Big D. So here now, so how the start? Straight away the square on, and Jake's the beginner, and Duncan's feeding him. Jake's turning his hip off. He's engaging his bum. From there now, Jake drives off the right, steps with his left, fires in the hammer, okay? Everybody can do that. That's beginning. Then Jake's being here, and he starts to move. This is still in position. He drives off that, goes with the hammer, and from there now, move in for your elbow. Okay, yeah, so watch now. He moves off, he moves in, then the elbow. Okay? Yeah, so the elbows could, they would, because they want it all the time anyway. Okay, so it's the beginning, the ABCs is square on. Square on. Turn your hip off, there. Now go. What? And then you can bring in the elbow again, of course. So again, to the ABCs of it. Hammer elbow, 1, 2, which you're all used to doing. Just turning off now, moving at a different angle. He steps off, moves in with a hammer, moves in for the elbow strike. Beautiful. Okay, happy with that? So the elbows could, they would. Yes? Suddenly I'm in a position here with Nigel. Working the ABCs, there's the hammer, there's the elbow. In this position now, he comes towards me, there's the hammer, there's the elbow. Okay, really simple. Just taking you off that line. And again, giving the left a bit of a purpose to do things. Okay, let's go. Yes, guys, yes, guys. Go, Jazz. Big too nice for you, Jazz. Beautiful. Yes, look and Sean. Hands up, Shawnee. Create that witness. You want to fight? Good. Now we're going to work it from that side now, where suddenly Uncle Kevin's moving that way. You're going to move that way, and then from there you're going to use the hammer. Okay, here. Great. So about a year ago, after doing a couple of intensive courses, the new way of doing it, over 3 days rather than all the other things that I used to do. People were getting themselves injured because they were like 6 hours of hammering. What tends to happen is this, your body starts coming out of alignment. So you're getting this kind of like big Geronimo moment, and then for 6 hours, everything's kind of going off and you're damaging yourself and you're losing power. So then I thought, right, how can I fix it? And again, a lot of you know this anyway. So I thought, right, when I used to do a lot of boxing, I would go against the wall like so and fire my cross against the wall to stop my elbow from flaring out when I threw across. And then I thought, right, how can I stop this from flaring out? So I got this one, the left one, and I put it onto my right one. And then from there, I'd do the same thing, turn it off, and now the left one would train the right one. So it had a purpose. Left one had a purpose to train the right one to stop flaring itself out. Okay? So if you're with somebody who's doing that the whole time, they're going to injure themselves. Get them to support it, turn the hip off. Elbow, again, you start to look into the combative side of this. Elbows up, it's like, okay, elbows there, turn my hip off. All right, step and go with the choo-choo. All right, happy with that? Yes? So if you're seeing a student who's starting to flare out, do that. And again, what does that do? That primes them straight away into the Lucille strike that we're going to finish off with. All right, here. So then we had the backhand strike. So the Super Nige backhand. So we'd be in a position, we'd have the choo-choo. And again, what we'd do, if we've got Jake, I've hit Jake one, he's not moved anywhere, he comes towards me, I use my elbow. Okay, remember? So we've gone with a hammer, I've got a barrier of some kind, from there moving for an elbow. Or I've hit him and he's gone back, 1 and 2. And again, how many times do we keep on hitting? We continue to keep on hitting, especially when you make that circle. If you just hit, bam, full stop, you put a stop on it, got to start again. By using the circle, it's teaching you to keep on hitting rather than just hitting and stopping, okay? And that's the difference between some of the stuff that's around and the way that we deliver it. And then we were looking at the backhand strike, because you all know it's a backhand strike. And I primed you earlier on, so we go forehand, elbow, and then suddenly he was there, and I brought the big backhand strike over, okay? So then we start to go, okay, so if we can go circle this way, and we can go forehand, backhand that way, and forehand, backhand to another attacker, this would come in. But if he's closer, we could get away with it going horizontal. Okay, so if Nigel's closer, we can get away with it going horizontal here. Okay, so we've got that forehand strike here, and then Nigel taps me, and I look, remember, and we're a little bit closer. My elbow's still searching, but from there I move my body, and there's that back hammer strike, which you're all very good at. From distance, recovering, there's that strike. A little bit closer, this is very safe, a lot safer. Okay, so we got this to multiple hammers. We get an attack this side. From there we look, safety again, Kai in Germany, getting smashed. Looking, moving, there's the back hammer. But when it comes back, look again. What's it doing again? Ready to hit again. So we're not going, there's my forehand, full stop. There's my backhand, full stop. All the time, all these fucking little circles are just going, wah, okay, everywhere. So I go, there's the 1, there's the 2, or there's the 1, there's the 2, there's the 3. I'm getting attacked this side, fuck. Okay, boom. But from there again, look, I'm straight into that hammer. But then it had a weakness. And I got away with it for years, and I have no idea why. Okay, because it was this side, unless you're left-handed. So then I go left side, I go, shit. So I'd go feet, core, big 4, and then step and move and go with the left. So I had to depend on having the right hand to chase it. Because remember, what we're looking at, the approach is what? It's a blade, but also strongest weapon. This one is like, that's guy's weak. Left side's weaker. So I used to depend on pushing, stepping, and letting that go. But as that used to go, that is when the choo-choo would come into place. There was no gap, but there was still a weakness. So going back to here again, the assisted. Here we are with the assisted. Turn it, step in, and going. Stops the student from throwing the arm out. Back hammer strike, what you're all familiar with. Touching the shoulder, elbow up. So I don't do this, look. He hits me, and I don't do this. Because I want to make myself what? I want to contract. I want to contract. He hits, and I go, contract. Okay. Woo, now expand. Jake hits me this side, and it's like, oh, fuck, please, why have you got to be on that side? All right, here. Push, pull, hit, and then we used to bring the choo-choo in. All right? And then I just stumbled on it with Lucille. It was like, okay, here we go. This is great. This keeps the elbow from flaring out. Backhammer, beautiful. Boom. Jake hits me, he hits me, and I contract. But then I went, grab on, fuck, cover, contract, from here, move, drive, and then the weakest just suddenly became the strongest. I'd like to say that I planned it, but you know me, I'm as honest as they come. It just happened. And if you look at the Silat, all the time in the Silat, there's two. Because if you bring in the two, it brings in all the body. And like I said at the start of class, or midway through, I knew this 20 odd years ago. It wasn't right to come out. It didn't come out. All right? So what have we got then? Turn the hip off, hands up, drive and step, choo-choo hammer. Okay? Back away again. Don't want to fight. Really sorry, mate. Start to walk off. This is checking. Comes in. Choo-choo hammer. He's still there. Elbow. Okay? Hands up again. Don't want to fight. Start to walk off. Hit him. He moves back. Hit him again. Hit him again. Got his pal with me. Hits me here. Look, turn. There's a back hammer. Brings back for choo-choo again. Jake smacks me. Instead of me coming up, I go down. Because what happens when you get a fright? What do? You go like this. Yeah? We have to be the opposite of that. We have to make ourselves smaller. Okay? It's like Pete grabs me. Pete grabs me and I go like this. Yeah? Pete grabs me. I have to go smaller. I have to go smaller. I have to go smaller. Rather than trying to fight it, rather than trying to fight this, I'm knackered after 5 seconds. I have to go smaller. He hits, I have to go smaller. I have to go smaller. Okay? So here, back hammer, here, Jake hits, boom, fuck. Okay. Pass me the blade a second, somebody. Small one, small one. Watch again. Just some little fine things here. Look. I hate to do this because it's my son. Look. Watch. Some people do this. They go like that, and then they go like this, and then they twist it last second. I don't go, and then little twist at the end, the blade going, where is he? Point it, and then step and go. And again, I'm carrying a bit of an injury, so I'm not moving very well at the moment. All right? And that's pretty much how it's evolved over the years. But then we go back, I'm really going to fuck your heads up now. Let's go back to the original approach. Let's go back to the forehand, backhand, elbow, chop. And then we go, right, I can assist, I can go forehand, I can go backhand, I can go choo-choo. So you can put the two together now, and suddenly you're getting all this because you're using all the body. I go forehand, backhand, choo-choo strikes. Again, you've got to remember who you're working with again. Smaller people, they're going to love this. I love this. Because I feel like I'm using all my body. If I just use that, I'm just using one little bit, even though I can deliver it. But the second I start using that, changes, because the whole body, look again, look what happens. I'm safe to a degree. Look at all these points. And if you look at Mr. Geek himself here, the professor, okay, of martial arts, look what we're doing at the same time if you've not done this with me before. We're doing forehand strike and we're doing a backhand strike. And look at the area that we're hitting if we get there. But it doesn't matter, he can have his hands up. He can have his hands up. And I smash through this to go again. Okay? He's coming towards me, I go to hit and he lifts his arms up. It doesn't matter. I still can smash it through. So this is going to be your homework to practice with. All the things that we've been doing on one, you can do with two. And it'll bring in all your body. The approach was great. But it's getting better. It's getting better, but it's just small little things, small little details that make a big difference. So from this to stop people getting injured, I suddenly turned my weakest strike into the strongest strike. And if I really use my body and drive, it's a different animal again altogether. I'm just being a bit lazy with it because I'm cautioning my shoulder. All right? So what are you going to do with your partner? Touch the shoulder. Touch the shoulder. So when he touches, I don't go up, he touches and I go down. Expand, turn, there's a strike, check him, choo-choo hammer, okay, and back. So again, watch, touches me on the shoulder, I look, I move. So once he hits again, make yourself do this, push, and then go contract. And then expand. That's it, then choo-choo. There you go. Yeah. So you're going to go back hammer, then choo-choo. Back hammer, choo-choo. That's it. So suddenly you're going like, sink, oh shit, sink. Oh, rather than coming up, oh shit. Awesome. I can find wide, get there with an aim. Swap over, you need to swap over. So you're going to go back hammer, watch. Back hammer, and I go, oh, it's Duncan! Look, back hammer, boom. Lucille, choo-choo, okay? Here, hits, look, back hammer, boom. See where I am again. This time, grab onto Lucille, and then do the choo-choo with Lucille. Let's play, let's go. Back hammer, Lucille! Pace, Time! Okay, from there now, assist it, go forehand, go backhand. Go back to the original approach, but go, I've got some fucking backup. There we go, let's come to Papa. Let's go, come on, forehand, backhand. Let's go. Forehand, backhand. 1, 2. There you go. And then you into that again. Forehand, backhand. So now you got Lucille on the weak side. Still put into practice. So we've got forehand, backhand, we've got choo-choo. Then he moves to this side, and then he taps me on the, there you go, taps me, and I go, oh shit. But what you got to start to remember is this, how I played this, how I got this in my strange mind, with Duncan and Dave in my head. He hits me, oh mate, leave me alone. And I'm going, come on, where are you, big gun? Okay, fucking move, have it. Yeah? So here we've got forehand, backhand, choo-choo. He moves to that side. The old backhand on the left, which was completely shit, needed all my years of training to go feet, core, four, turn, pull, push. This, still shit, okay. Push, pull, turn, boom, boom, have that one as a backup. Now I just go, where are you? Okay, have that. Okay? Got the idea? So we've got forehand, backhand. We've got choo-choo here. He comes to my left side, my weak side. It doesn't matter. My teacher talks about power from weakness. Fucking hell, I've got powerful weakness, you can bet. I've contracted. Now I've expanded. And you're in shit, no matter what you give me. You put your arms up or smash through it. Because what is it? Blade art. And my blade doesn't give a shit, whatever's there. That'll do its job. Whether it's some low-life scum who wants to stab you and kill you, or the doctor who wants to cut you open and save you. That will do its job. Whatever it's told to do by whoever does it. Okay? It's a blade art. The blade doesn't care. Whatever's there, if Nigel puts his hands up, don't matter, mate. I just cut through it. Then I can take him. And then we go back to that again, see? See if it all comes into play again. Look. Here. There we go. See? See it? Can you all see this? Cut, in, cut, in. And again, that wouldn't be coming off it, that would be assisted right into there. All right? So look, here it is, cut, goes in, and in. Not nice at all. So, I'm just getting warm as well. Forehand, backhand, choo-choo. Comes to your weak side, your left, or comes to your side, the right. Hand goes on the top. Doesn't work if you go underneath it. Hand goes on the top. Look, contract. Again, remember, oh, leave me alone, why me? All this kind of nonsense. It's not nonsense. Contract, boom, then let it go. Okay? Put the pads to the side, guys. Put your pads to the side. Let's have a bit of a stretch out. Guys, girls, thank you. I've enjoyed it. I've had a great time this morning, afternoon.